How's everyone doing today? Think I'm live. Just gonna be hanging out today about an 80-minute live stream. I do need to end a little bit before 4:30. I need to go take the wife's car to get inspected. So I do have an appointment to get that inspected, and I cannot do any overtime today. So hit me with all your questions. I'm actually I hate these graded card sleeves, the little piece of plastic that you have to take off that ends up just stuck everywhere. I'm prepping some cards for Collecticon, so I might do a little bit of pricing during this stream. I have a feeling that chat might be a little rowdy, that people might have a lot of questions, and I might not be able to keep up, so maybe I won't price any slabs. That's fine, too. I've been very proactive, and I've been very productive the past few nights, knowing that next week I'm not going to have a lot of time to prep for Collecticon. So I do have a lot of the front end work done. I've sent some cards down. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about like my strategy, I guess, for Collecticon. My strategy is always pretty static. I guess I'm doing one new thing for the first time at this Collecticon that I've not done before that I can discuss. But yeah, generally my strategy is good cards priced well, or ideally great cards priced well, and it's always done well for me. I think a lot of people get so sucked up in like what's the strat, how do you do it, what sells, is it binders, is it graded, is it sealed? It's all of the above. There's a lot of variance. So when you're on eBay, you're on a platform in front of millions of people, and that's a lot of eyes. That's a lot of consumer dollars ready to go. At Collecticon, you might have only hundreds or thousands of people pass by and look at your table. So there's a lot of like variance, and there's a decent bit of like luck. I mean, if you price something so great, so well, that someone can just buy it and flip it from you, that gets into the whole buyout thing. You're way more likely to sell, obviously. It's not very luck-based if you're selling a $1,000 card for $500. That thing's going to move, because I'm just going to buy it and then flip it for, yeah, instant profit. But anyways, that's kind of what I plan to talk about today. I'm sure there'll be a lot of interesting chat engagement, but we'll see where we go. Fortnightly, baby. I switched over from the ambiguity of bi-weekly that I kept insisting on saying, fortnightly or fortnightly live streams. I think Nick and I are intending to do PokeFlipz next week. Well, we're definitely doing it next week with Java. Should be Wednesday night, 8:30 or 9 p.m. Eastern. And then I think we're going to do the week after Collecticon as well. So I think we're going to have back-to-back PokeFlipz. This live stream will likely be my last solo live stream for like 3 weeks, because we'll have the next 2 successive weeks. I believe we will be doing PokeFlipz. So basically the way that it's going to go, it'll be approximately fortnightly, and it'll more consistently, I will be live every week, either on PokeFlipz or here. So make sure you're subscribed with bells on to both, I guess, if you want to watch, if you want to catch me. How's it going? We got Brandon, we got Walrus, we got Skya, we got Brandon. We got other Brandon, 2 Brandons. How much does the CGC sponsor pay? I am not sponsored by CGC. If I were, I would say this video is brought to you by that, but it's not. I've not taken a sponsorship where like a video was sponsored. I do have an affiliate link below to like Graded Guard. I do speak of services that I utilize, but I'm a business in Pokemon. Me personally, I'm a business in Pokemon. I think all 3 major grading card companies have applications, so I use CGC to do business in the hobby. I use PSA, BGS to do business in the hobby. I think a lot of people, and I know there's a lot of noise, I've been involved in some of the noise in different Discords and live streams, and a lot of people have very like loyalty to a certain grading card company, and that's fine. Like, everyone has different goals. Depending on what your goals are, it might make sense to just solely go for one. If you like one's label the best, if you like one's liquidity the best, the resale value, if you like the history of a company, if you, I mean, if you have ties to one company for whatever reason. I mean, maybe you grew up and your dad was collecting sports cards and you got the Beckett price guides, and so you're a BGS guy, like whatever it may be. It's fine to have preferences towards any which one. And even if you're doing business, if your sole goal is the same as mine, not my sole goal, but my main goal is to just do business and make money in the hobby. Even if that's like, you can choose to not do business with certain companies, but like my take is that all grading companies have pros and cons, and I just try to utilize which one. I'm not loyal to any to where like I'll stick with them over if they're losing me money. Like if I'm just straight losing money with any company, I'll cease doing business with that company. But yeah, not sponsored by CGC, nor PSA, nor BGS. I do utilize all three though. Mr. Waller says, you know why we're here. Oh, I can only imagine. Then get a piece of packing tape and stick it to your desk. Those little plastic things can be stuck to that tape and not be annoying. I have done that. Like take a big coil of packing tape and then just like loop it over and then put it on your desk. Some of them still miss that. I mean, I need to get like a bigger thing, but yeah. You get a little coil of tape, double-sided, stick it to your desk, boom, you stick them all there. Catches most of them, but like inevitably my floor, the sides of my desks, probably the ceiling are just like covered with those things still somehow. When you times anything by thousands, 10,000, they're gonna get around. Bro, those things you pull off the team bags, graded sleeves are the worst. They get stuck to my desk. I'll end up finding them like a week later. So many times when I sell a card on eBay lately, I just like here, obligatory celebrations Charizard. I just pack them. I put them in. I fold this over. And then I use my business card. My business card kind of holds them down. And then I use my little cardboard sheet. So I don't even seal them because I just get so annoyed. Like, if I let that flip up, I just don't even seal them oftentimes. But for Collect-A-Con, I want it to look neater in the case, and I want to be able to put my price stickers on them and not have them slide out, whatever. Can we talk about all the checks you get from CGC and how I can get on it? Unfortunately, no checks. And even if I did, like that's part of it. Like I legally would not be able to lie about that. Like if I was, there are disclosure requirements, and that's why you see some people sponsored by CGC, whatever it may be. Some people are so against that. Like some people are so against. I can see my light there, right there. I don't know how that's on screen right now. My camera must have moved. Some people are so against like the thought of businesses advertising. I feel like we went through this. Didn't we go through this? Dan rant videos with Magic 30th. And that was a little more of a divisive topic, I think. But businesses advertise. Like consumers are fairly fickle. If you put something nice and shiny in front of them, they'll be more prone to buy it. Like people pay for billboards, people pay for ads on YouTube, people pay for sponsorships. A lot of consumers are just allergic to money, and you dangle something shiny in front of them, and they'll be more likely to buy it. So advertising is a thing. A lot of companies have major advertising budgets, and it's because it works. Let's see. It's a dumb question, but I have to ask. When you get a multiple item order from one seller, do you only send out one business card from one buyer? Yeah, like if someone, ideally someone adds all the items to the cart and checks out in one go. But even if they don't, I mass print all my labels at one time. Blows my mind that some people print one by one. But like, again, whatever works for you, whatever's optimal, whatever's the fastest for you. For me, I combine all the orders. So if they buy like 4 different slabs, they'll go into one and they'll just get one business card per order. Uh-oh, your average player is getting scammed by Google. His badge is not upgrading. I'll have to look. Let me, I might be able to do that right here. Let me see if I can go into I think I can go into like my community tab or something. Let me see what it's showing about your membership, your average player. If I can find it. I'm so bad about, I think it's in analytics, audience. Or maybe it's in revenue because it's memberships. Here we go. Memberships. I don't know how to see. I've definitely been in the page before that shows all of my members, and it shows who's Who's been the member longest? I don't know where to see that though. I'm not seeing it right now. Yeah, I'm not finding it. Anyways, sorry, your average player, if you're getting snubbed on your golden medal. Prepping binders as we speak. Gonna try to be productive while I listen. OSP eBay Live derailed my productivity at last. LOL, thanks, Nick. Hopefully you sourced some inventory at least. Hopefully you got some deals off him. Are we grabbing cash always? Typical Dan, keep moving the goalposts. I don't know what I'm moving the goalposts on already, but we're only 10 minutes in. I'm already moving the goalposts in on something. I don't know. Oh, maybe advertising or something. This guy made a YouTube video talking about how consistent he is. You can always find me here at these times and days. Now look at him. Live stream schedule wonkier than a Dr. Seuss book. I like it. I like it. Valid call out there. And meet like literally 2 weeks after. 2 weeks after I talk about consistency. Consistency just falls apart naturally. I'm trying to channel my rage. Say outrageous things, please. Ask me questions that will lead me into saying outrageous things. I need prompting. Listing my Unagabas, watching everyone undercut one another by nickels and dimes. One interesting thing, maybe it's a pro tip, maybe I don't know. Very rarely do I sell cards as sets. Very rarely do cards earn a set premium. For whatever reason, like I was able to sell... Basically, I lowered my individual card prices quicker than I lowered my complete set prices. And they were selling still. Like there was a couple times where if you had just bought... And right now I'm out of Umbreon Nagaba PSA 10s. So technically you can't go to my eBay store alone and buy the whole set. But there was a couple day period where you could have bought individually all 9 of my PSA 10s for like $100 cheaper than buying the set of 9 PSA 10s. And I sold out of sets. I was just lagging getting the prices adjusted. I think originally when I listed them to where like it was maybe a $50 discount to buy the set of 9 as opposed to buying the 9 individually. But yeah, I lowered the individual pricing ones. It was an interesting phenomenon. I don't think it happens that frequently. Generally speaking, you're best off selling things separately, but non-fungible, inefficient market, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes there's wonky things that happen like that. You're in this hobby to make money. What kind of paywall cabal Ponzi scheme are we running here? What's the optimal toaster setting when making a sandwich? I usually go for like a 3. Age-old battle between flippers and investors. How's it going, Java? Everyone, big shout out to Java. I think it was his... I'm so bad on my days. I think it was yesterday. He posted that it was his birthday, or maybe that was 2 days ago. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. Java hitting 3K subs. Java having a birthday. And Java on PokeFlipz next week. And Java in Charlotte. Collecticon next weekend. So, big shout out to Java. Thanks for being here. Looking forward to, not to meeting, but to seeing each other again. Hopefully for a longer duration this time around. Hopefully get to chat a little bit more. And we'll get to chat more preemptively on PokeFlipz anyway. So, looking forward to it. Brad's just bragging over here. We got your average player sharing his 5 months, then Brad's just like, hold my beer, and he shows his 8 months, which I think is as long as you can be. I think my memberships have only existed for like 8 months and a week maybe. So yeah, Brad G was like a day one guy, I believe. The ideal toast has a brown crispy middle and whiter outside. White toast bread is worse than whole wheat bread, must be whole meal bread. Maybe we call it whole wheat bread here, whole meal bread. I don't know if that's a typo or what that, but I do like whole wheat bread more than white bread. When I grew up, all we ever had was white bread, and I can still eat it, but it's there's so many good kinds of breads out there. As long as it's not as long as it's not Texas Roadhouse rolls, then we're good. I know that was a very inflammatory thing that got people all worked up when I brought it up before. I see 69 watching now, and I see only 9 likes, counting the one that I just dropped on my own video. 73 watching and only 10 likes. So bump up those numbers. Let's see what we can get that up to. Uh-oh. We got Alex in here. Alex had a wild live stream a little bit ago. Dan, just stop telling people to buy Graded Jungle EVs Unlimited in PSA 10 and stop lying about the Cabal. I've been told many times what I've apparently... I get told so many times what I am and what I do in the hobby. It's always interesting. I think I'm pretty transparent. I think I show pretty well what I do. Semantics is some amount of it, but I'm told that I'm an investor, and I'm told that I'm a bear, and I'm told like so many things. It's always interesting to me. But and maybe, I mean, I've been live for hundreds of hours. I've had hundreds of hours of videos. There's almost certainly things that I've said in my videos and in my lives that I would have revised my position on over time, or I would have made a wrong call, a wrong forecast, or I would have like wished I hadn't said it in the way that I did. That's just natural. But I can't think of a time that I've ever literally said, buy this card, buy this set, buy this box. It's always just like, this is what I'm doing and why. These are, like, I am me with my goals. It's all very, like, personal finance is personal. This isn't really a personal finance channel, but I do rope some of that in here. It's a business channel, though. It's like, this is very personalized towards what I do, leading my way towards my goals. And I'm not perfect. Like, I do not do the purely optimal things to advance towards my goals. I do what I think best will advance me towards those goals. But like, if your goals are different than mine, then so much of what I say is just not applicable. Like, if it's entertainment value, that said though, and I watch a lot of other content with people that have nowhere near my goals. Like, I watch people who invest in Pokemon, like very speculatively invest, in my opinion, again, semantics. I watch people who just straight up gamble, rip packs like crazy. I do a little bit of that myself, and you can still glean at times a lot of interesting and or helpful information from someone, even if their goals are very different from you. So yeah, I hope I've never told anyone to buy anything. I've actually multiple times, and I'm probably wrong for doing so at times, because there's been times where I'm like, don't buy PSA 10 EVs, don't buy PSA 10 Jungle First Edition Eevees and Pikachus. Don't buy evolutions. Don't buy. And I don't even think I went so far as to say. I think I more said it from the angle as like, I don't know where this is going to end. I'm selling these. I would caution you buying them. I think I've always framed it that way, and that scene is fence sitting, blah blah blah, whatever it may be. If someone ever asked me, like, if you have a specific item and you want me to know, like, hey Dan, what do you think this will be worth in X amount of time? I'll throw out a number. I'm not afraid of like throwing out a specific estimate or guess. And a lot of times, like the positions that people say that I have, if they were to just ask me a specific of like, where do you think XYZ will be on this date? Oh, I wouldn't have thought that. That's actually more bullish than I would have thought. It's like, yeah, I get painted as this certain thing. Some of the thing, yeah, it is what it is. But please don't ever do anything that anyone tells you to do, like, solely based on them telling you to do it. Even, honestly, like, there's the meme. There's the meme in this space of, like, consult a professional. Kind of I mean, an actual, like, valid, good piece of advice, but kind of a meme, too, and it's funny. I'm actually going to get my car. My dad and I fixed some stuff on my wife's car, and I'm going to a mechanic later to get it inspected. A good, honest, hardworking, knowledge, experienced guy. He's just inspecting the car. Like, he's not doing anything on it. My dad and I fixed it, and then he's inspecting it. Just getting a sticker, basically. Mechanics, though. There are so many, like, experts out there. Like, consult an expert. You got to be careful with certain fields more than others on, like, experts. And I think basically what I'm trying to say in a long, weird way is that even when you're dealing with an expert, 50% of the experts are worse than the median, right? So go consult an accountant. Well, there's one accountant in the world somewhere. There's one accountant in your county, in your state somewhere, that is literally the worst accountant in your county, in your state, in your town. consult like the right experts and still do a sanity check. Like when I don't check lately as closely as I should, more like a time thing, but I should really do more of a sanity check. Like the first several years that I filed my taxes through an accountant, I printed them out. I printed out the whole thing and I went line by line and I followed where the numbers went, and they are not infallible. They are still humans. They can make mistakes. So like you should do a little bit of like learning yourself and just verifying to the extent that you can that what they're doing is making sense. Like my uncle is a contractor, and when we're working on something, my dad is a fabricator, welder, and there's a lot of times that I'll just ask like, hey, why this, why that? Not to a point of like being, not to a point of like slowing the whole process down and not questioning as if I don't believe them, but more just like trying to understand the mechanics behind it, trying to understand the inner workings, trying to understand like why are these things done? Why I formed an S corporation. I didn't just blindly like, hey, this guy said I should be an S corporation, go be an S corporation. I talked to, oh, well, what advantages does that afford me? How does it work? How much will it cost me? And then I did some Googling, and then I'm like, oh, yep, let's go ahead with that. Trust but verify, I guess some of that falls down to. But yeah, I don't know how I got on that whole big rant there, but let me continue on. Dan's terrible at business. I offered a price for slabs and he countered with less. How is he in business? But I'm struggling. That's actually a true story. So Walrus is buying some super bricks off me. He's buying some Naruto, and he hit me with a price, and I'm like, man, if you aren't buying these, I'm gonna auction them with Probstein. You can't be trying to pay me that much money. I am max paper handing these Naruto slabs. I will take no more than 60% of what you offered, or whatever it worked out to be. But yeah. Oh god. I think Walrus, I need to find out sorry, I'm just looking up how I need to find the list of members now, because I believe it is Walrus. Brad says it's him and Walrus says it's him. I do believe, but I'm not positive. Let me see if I can get some actual concrete data, get a screenshot. It's got to be somewhere in. It shouldn't. Sorry, I'm trying to find where this is. Okay, here we go. Members. See all members. I think I found it. We're in members. Okay, here we are. So here's someone who rejoined. Total time as a member. Sorted top down. Brad, you're fifth. Brad, you're fifth. Let me give an extra big shout out. Shout out to everybody. I appreciate everyone who's a member. Just trying to settle a dispute between two of the real MVPs on my chat. We have to get to the actual data here. We have to get to the actual data here to settle this. So let me. Let's see. Okay, there we go. The Walrus says, I'm the longest. He indeed is. It's Walrus. And then it's Amplitude. And then it's Jake Pokenomics, L. Barton, and Brad G. Card. So there's my top 5 longest tenure members. I appreciate every member. By no means does anyone have to become a member. I know it's one of those evil paywalls. But as with any paywall, mine or others, my one that only sells you 99-cent emotes, or my one that sells you a $10 access to a Discord, Zoom meetings, you don't have to buy it, right? But like, you don't have to buy it. It's just there. It's there if you want it. No sense getting outraged over something you don't have to interact with. That's something that happens a lot in, not just here either, just in all of humanity. That's just an issue at times. Anyways, continuing on. Not talking subscribers, talking Nick would have been my first subscriber. I remember when I created my channel, and my first post to the YouTube channel was PokeFlipz episode 1. That was when Nick and I were dual posting. And yeah, Nick would have been my first subscriber, I'm pretty sure. Have you seen Nostalgianomic's video about CGC? Do you agree with his take that CGC is only great for sellers and not for buyers? Again, it comes down to goals. Alex has valid points. I mean, I was just watching Alex's live before I went live. Alex has valid concerns and valid points towards like brand recognition and brand acceptance. He mentioned the whole Shark Tank thing. He mentioned it's a lot to get like branding and talking about advertising, branding. PSA has 30 years of it just built in. And they have 40 million, 50 million, 60 million slabs out there with their names on them. CGC's only been around a few years. They do have the added help of the comic book grading they've done for longer. I don't know how long they've done that. But they do have a leg up because they didn't just start out of nowhere with cards only. They have the name from comic book grading. And then coins, too. They're under the umbrella of NGC, who's been around for decades. So he has some valid points, but like I largely disagree with the whole thing. It's all about, and honestly, so some of his commentary around like the PSA 10 base first Charizard selling for 168,000, I believe it was, and then a CGC one selling for 68,000, $100,000 difference. My question I would ask: what do you think that CGC 10 was in before? What do you think that card was? If that was submitted, because he spoke as if CGC is costing their sellers a bunch of money. That person lost $100,000. I think they gained 50,000 because that card was probably going to be a PSA 9. Here's a thought experiment for you. Crack out the CGC 10, crack out the PSA 10. Regrade them both with whoever you want to regrade them with. Or sell them raw. Which card's going to be worth more? So, when you make the point that you're better off owning PSA because it's better to sell it, almost like directly like the in the same vein, it makes it less value to buy if it's better to sell, right? Inherently, in some regards. So, like, I would just push back with that. We've had these conversations, we've had these debates. But if you're just a consumer, like, I know Alex doesn't agree, and that's fine. I mean, opinions are opinions. I like the clarity. If I were solely Collector Boy Dan 10 years ago, and I walked into the market, and these two options were presented to me, solely for collection purposes only, never reselling, taking it to the grave. CGC is quicker, cheaper, and I like the quality of the slab and the label and everything more. So like CGC is an easy thing for a buyer, for me as a buyer. But again, that's like saying Ford or Chevy. That's like saying, I don't know, all these different designer labels and brands and things like that. Like, a lot of it just comes down to preference. So people can have their own opinions. That's fine. Why are you the biggest cutie in the room? Snorlax is right over there. So he definitely heard me say that. So he's very offended. Metazoo question here: which cryptid do you think will be the most popular in the future? I think Bigfoot's way more popular than Mothman. I never heard of Mothman. I think Bigfoot is more universal than Mothman. I was never on board with the whole like Mothman Charizard thing. I actually never saw the video where that equivalence was made or that comparison was made. But I've always been a Bigfoot guy. So yeah, I think he's currently bigger, and I think he will continue to be bigger. He's just not bigger in Metazoo. Like, globally, I think... I guess I don't know who the biggest cryptid would be. And I guess some of it comes down to like how you exactly define a cryptid. There's tens of thousands of them. Anyways, yeah, that's my quick answer. I'll save everyone from going too deep into the long answer. I forgot. I was supposed to check where your average player was. Let me see where your average player is. Let's see. I'm gonna have to write an email to Google if your average player is getting snubbed the way that he says. Let me see. So total time as a member. Lot of the chat MVPs up in here. I'm liking it. This might turn into a your average player call out. Your average player. This is showing 5 months. This is showing 6 months is the deadline. 6 months is where it turns gold. I see that the closest people on the border of, what is that, like cyan or something? That light blue? The green shiz, radar, your average player. You guys are like the 3 closest light blues that are on your way to gold. But this is saying 5 months ago. And I don't know how it counts joining, rejoining, all that kind of stuff. Some people it does say joined, rejoined. Your average player, for you it says joined 5 months ago. So I don't know if, call up Google Billing. Maybe you need to be reimbursed for a couple months of the 99 cents. I don't know. But in any case, you will be gold by my next live, it sounds like. So appreciate you sticking around. Let me continue on with the chat. Let's see. How low do you see Paldea Evolve dropping? Mason just released a video about like 50 cards being more expensive than a pack. I mean, I think one dangerous concept that has floated around periodically is like a floor. A floor being distributor price, a floor being $99.99, $89.99, $79.99. There really is like no floor realistically. Back in 2003, and this is not like Doomsayer Dan, this is not negative Dan, I'm just saying an actual fact of what happened. Back in 2003, 2004, Jungle Fossil base boxes were like $40, and they were barely selling. Low liquidity at $30 or $40. So, I mean, look at MetaZoo. I'm a MetaZoo partner. I'm not afraid to say that like certain things are looking a little bit rough here and there in that. When you compare things to like Pokemon is the biggest, most liquid, highest sell-through of all these other TCGs. So yeah, like MetaZoo right now, the sell-through rate of UFO, like there's a big difference between a $40 box that's actually selling versus a $40 box that's selling very slowly, if at all. Like Seance, I'm actually selling at 70-ish. Native, I'm actually selling at 80 to 90-ish. UFO is like hardly. I have a bunch on Troll and Toad, and maybe it's because it's on Troll and Toad. Maybe if I put them on eBay, they'd sell quicker. But I have UFO on Troll and Toad at like 40, 38, 40. It's just not selling. It's not selling at all. I'm not putting my stuff up on eBay because like the only reason I'm selling it is because it's at Troll and Toad, and I'm gonna have to be forced to take it back soon. If I had Troll and Toad Evo into the future, I'd just sit on it. But I'm in this dynamic where like I have to get rid of it. Or pay to get it back. So anyways, Paldea Evolved, it could go to 60, 70, like depending on how things get. Where do I think it will go? That which is more what you asked. It could go 50, 60, who knows? I wouldn't be shocked to see it go $69.99, $79.99. It's just a matter of like, I don't know how much was printed. I can buy as much as I want right now for like $90 a box. My first wave came in at like $95 a box. People are selling, and I'm selling, again, I'm selling some of mine on Troll and Toad for a loss because I don't want to have to pay to get it back because I have like 10 or 20 cases here. So the thought that like a floor exists where break even is, the fact that a floor might exist where people will lose money, that's not a thing. Like if it meant like paying my bills, if it meant my family eating, keeping heat on this winter, I would sell UFO boxes at 20, 10 if I had to. I would sell Paldea Evolved at 50 if it literally meant like my family eating. I'm not in that dark of a place. I hope the whole market doesn't go to that dark of a place. But like historically speaking, it did once. Like it did once sub 50, sub 40 even. So that's just, yeah, that's my thinking. If I had to put a number, like where, let me look where it is now, because I don't even have a great grasp on where it is now. Let's look up Paldea Evolved. I don't even know if that's the worst. Is that worse than Scarlet and Violet? Or is Scarlet and Violet worst? Let's look up Paldea Evolved box. So Paldea Evolved is as low as 92, 88. I thought Scarlet and Violet was a little lower. So Scarlet and Violet's 88. I mean, fees and shipping, like they're losing a decent chunk of money on that. And if they have to, like they'll lose more to get rid of it. Like it's better. And again, I'm not making a specific price prediction. I'm actually sitting on 10, 20 cases of these sets. I think there's a decent shot within a couple years. These could be $150 boxes again. Like these could be back to a healthy margin. These could be back to. That's why I'm sitting on them. That's why I'm not selling them. I'm not personally needing the liquidity, the cash flow. So I'm not selling mine. I'm only selling the Troll and Toad ones because like I don't want even more back, and I don't want to have to pay shipping to get them back. But yeah, this is not my thought. But if you thought that these were going to be 80 in 3 years, I think they'll be higher than 80 in 3 years. I think they'll be over 100 in 3 years. You may as well sell today, undercut the market by $5 and just get rid of them, right? Dump them for a small loss today is a lot better than the same loss, or especially a worse loss 2 years from now. Like, and part of it's the known versus the unknown too. You can take a known fixed loss. Again, it's all on your goals. It's all on what other opportunities you have. Like if you have 50K tied up in Paldea Evolved and Obsidian Flames and Scarlet and Violet, and a 50K collection walks through the door that you can double your money on, and you decline buying a 50 to 100K double up because you're sitting on 50K of this, you'd be better off selling 50K of this for 40K, finding 10K somewhere else. Say it's 60K. Sell 60K of this for 50K, 10K loss, sucks. Double your money from 50 to 100 over the next 6 months on like a known flip. A known, like, again, it depends on what avenues you have to sell, what way you're interacting with the market, all that kind of stuff. Like, the answer is always, it depends. Like, there's always nuance, and people just don't like nuance. So yeah, very long rant over a very more direct question than I made it sound like. I think it will go to $85, 80 to $85 within the next year, and I think that 2 to 3 years from now it'll be 120 to 150. It's a complete guess. Don't make decisions based on my guesses because they're just that. All I can tell you, more valuable than what I'm guessing is I'll just tell you I have 10 to 20 cases of it. And I'm not personally, at this time, with the information I have, gonna dump mine for that big of a loss. I'm gonna dump the Troll and Toad stuff for a loss if I have to, because I don't want to pay to get it back. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. I think that's more demonstrative than... You hear so many people, and again, I think my transparency is right up there with some of the highest ones. I think knowing what people have and their thought process behind it is just a lot more in the line with like teaching to fish versus giving fish, that kind of thing. Red Lobster rolls, Cheddar Bay biscuits are very, very solid. Do you keep track of sold inventory at CAC, cash sales, and what's the CGC to PSA ratio? Every Collecticon I've gone to, the ratio of slabs I've brought was different. The ratio of heavy packs to slabs versus sealed. I've never really brought raw too extensively. I did have some raw in Dallas, but I do keep track of it. I mean, I have to for tax purposes. So I do keep track of everything, but like I don't have all that accessible right now to tell you what it was at every convention. I don't have that all in one accessible place. Someone get Pokemartin in here. Let's see if he shows up. Dan, with your... I need to proofread these before I start reading the whole thing, but this one I just threw on screen. Dan, with your continued growth, you can see more than the most of us. How often should we be cleaning the top of our fridges? That's funny. A lot of tops of fridges are very, very overlooked, very, very dirty. Mine included. We keep the cereal up there, so some amount of the dust gets scuffled off with the cereal boxes. But my grandma's getting up there in age these days. She always has a immaculate top of her fridge. She cleans the house a bunch, but she has people help from time to time too. The top of her fridge, I always tell her, the cleanest one I've ever seen. What's my opinion on Alpha Investments? Very, very smart guy. Very, very knowledgeable, experienced guy. I really liked Mason's video on You Are Not Rudy, You Are Not Alpha Investments. That is an independent statement from what I'm going to say next. What I'm going to say next are like kind of what Mason said, but like my own thoughts just separately too. I've contemplated making, not calling out Rudy by name, not that Mason made like a call out video, but it was going to be more of like the dangers of seeing the tip of the iceberg. So Rudy, and Rudy, I've consumed tons of Rudy's content over the years. I've been a subscriber to his YouTube. He's been on for over 6.9 years. I bought the 6.9 year anniversary. Over 6 years, I've been a follower of Rudy. I don't remember exactly when it started. I was one of his original early patrons before he closed it. I unsubscribed for a while. I'm a patron again. I love his content. And earlier, like, he has given a lot of disclosure, as I think I do too, but I don't do it in every video, and you can't do it in every video. I can't do a 30-minute recap on who I am and what my goals are and what my background is and what my financial foundation is. Rudy has one of the most massive financial foundations. And all these things, the 80-90% of the iceberg that exists below the surface, you don't see a lot of that stuff. He talks about some of it periodically here and there. You only see the top 10%. You only see the stacks of booster boxes that like Mason uses as his backdrop in some of his videos. You only see like the flashy cardboard stuff that we care about. He has a lot of stuff going on. He has a lot of cash flow, a lot of liquidity. All his stuff could go to zero. And I think he said this before. All his cardboard could go to zero and he would be fine. He is set for life off other stuff. So he can be riskier and he can do more in cardboard. And he trusts it and he believes in it. And he's one of like the most bullish sealed guys all around. And he's buying a ton of vintage too. He's buying a ton of, I have a video, I haven't watched it yet, but it's like one of my next in my watch later. He bought his 100th Arabian Nights set or something. He has all this graded power. He has all these PSA 10 alpha cards and he's clearly putting his money where his mouth is. But he also has a lot of money elsewhere. So I would just be like, I really like him. I can't imagine how he moves all the product he does. It's absolutely mind-blowing. He must have kind of like a family team situation going on or some kind of like third-party logistics company covering some of it. But yeah, the man's a machine. He clearly is putting in the work and the results are showing. I do a very like minuscule small scale of what he does with like the last, but I sell quicker too. I think I sell quicker. Like, I don't have Sword and Shield sets. I don't have them all. I have a handful of them, but I have all the Scarlet and Violet sealed cases right now. 10, 20 cases each. And I'm going to have them until it doesn't make sense anymore. Until I need the liquidity elsewhere. He can hold for longer. He can hold through more downtimes because of his stability, because of his foundation. And I'm still working on building mine. His has been built for I don't know how many years now. A lot more thoroughly. In all your years as a seller, do you have more packages lost in the mail or packages where the buyer claims empty package / different contents? This happens very, very infrequently. It's probably about the same. It's like counting on maybe two hands. I might have to use both hands. I've sold 60,000 items on eBay. If you look at my eBay, 60,000 items, 20,000-ish feedback. Very, very small amount of fraud. Very, very small amount of actual loss. A little bit more with like ESE, a little bit more with eBay standard envelope than with first class or ground advantage. Priority mail though, express mail. I don't think I've ever had a priority get lost. I've never had an express get lost. I think generally the higher the service level you go, the quicker it is. Makes sense. The less time it's in transit, generally speaking, the less likely it's going to get lost. Probably the bigger it is too, the less likely to get lost. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not, but it feels kind of logical to me. You can't really lose a box that's this big, but it's easier to have an envelope slide somewhere, fall off the truck, whatever it may be, without being noticed. Tiberius says, as someone who doesn't sell a whole lot, is it cheaper to do buy the eBay shipping labels or use similar shipping label service? I buy all from eBay. I thought about linking it with Pirate Ship. I don't know if it gets any cheaper or not. That's on my like to-do list that I'll probably never do, but what box do you hit when you upload? What do you mean? Oh, I did hear... that's actually a good question. I remember when I started my channel, I was torn between like, I think I'm entertainment too. I know I heard Alex say that he's entertainment. I think you only do that once and then it's set as the default for all your videos. You don't have to select that video by video, I don't believe. I think you can see that externally too. I think you can see that externally from, but I'm not even positive. Maybe I can see it video by video. Let me see. I put, no, it's not made for kids. Entertainment. So I don't set that every video. I think I set it once globally, and then all my videos default to that. But every video you do have to do like content warnings, foul language, whatever else it may be. You have to do not made for kids, if it's not made for kids, all that stuff. Any advice on investing in Legos? I don't do it. I love Legos, but I would give a lot of the same cautions. I watched Rudy's video on investing in Legos. I don't like the bulk of them. I don't have the space. I don't like the bulk of them. I really don't like the one thing I love about graded cards, and it does become an issue to some extent. People complaining about, oh, the label's wrinkled. Oh, the case is imperfect because of some production issues with PSA or CGC or BGS. Boxes are just scary to me. Like selling sealed Lego sets to customers. Like you're gonna buy on Amazon, you're gonna buy it for full retail, and any imperfection on that box, that's going to be a subtraction from the value. I think you can actually grade Lego sets. I don't know if it's AFA or someone else, but I'm not doing it personally. I'm not doing it. I love Legos. I had them growing up. My dad had them growing up. But those are my quick thoughts. Question, what heavies you bringing to Charlotte and what are the prices? So I have Jungle. No, sorry. I have base for 700. I have Topps Chrome for 400, which isn't heavy. Everyone has all Chrome cards, 1 out of 2 chance for Spectra, 1 out of... Is it 1 out of 10 for Sparkle and 1 out of 15 for Techno, I believe? And then I have Fossil. I have Fossil for 550. I might lower those some. I might go like 650 and 500, try to move them. If they don't get moved, I might just see if like Rusty wants to buy them. Maybe Rusty will listen and let me know. I know Rusty is just blowing through heavy packs and boxes left and right. Maybe Nick even. Nick did a Fossil first edition box recently. I know I've said I want my brand to be the heavy pack guy, and maybe I'll continue with it. PSA pack grading is scaring me away from it because I can't grade PSA 10 packs anymore. I think they've fundamentally changed how they apply their standards to packs. And all the reseal stuff going on. I just don't even like that the question exists. When someone buys a $700 pack from me, and then they pull like a Polyrath, and it grades a PSA 9 or PSA 8, and there's that, like, I know that I'm doing everything above board and legit, but there's that thought in their mind, or there could be that thought in their mind. Did Dan reseal this pack? Did he just buy a PSA 9, crack it? Because you can buy a PSA 9 base set Polyrath for what, like $80 probably? The opportunity is there. I am not remotely threatening everything I do. Like $500, $700, it's nowhere near worth it. It blows my mind, some of the people that do what they do in the positions they're in. So I might just like get rid of what I have and then just kind of be done. I might do even more than I did this year, next year. Who knows? Like, I'm up in the air still. I'm up in the air on all that right now. Serious question. Where's the expert you can go to consult with that actually knows about investing in Pokemon long term, though, Dan? I don't know anyone who, like, genuinely. I know you think you. I heard you kind of boogeyman, as I say. You say so many things go on in the Pokenomics Discord, the Pokenomics paywall, that don't remotely go on. Like, I've never paid for a consult with anyone else. I do offer consults. I've never had people ask me, which card should I grade to make money? I've never had people ask me, which card should I invest in? And if I did, I wouldn't answer them in that way. If someone, here's a buy I'm thinking about making, here's a play I'm thinking about making, sanity check it, like poke some holes in it. I've had some of those come to me, like stress test my assumptions, stress test my thoughts on this. I don't know how other people do their consults, and I highly doubt, extremely doubt, that the one you're referencing, my partner, I don't like speaking for people on behalf of other people. I highly doubt he just says, invest in this, invest in that, buy this for that price. Someone might ask him, should I? I don't even like to speculate what goes on in there, because I don't do that. But what you accused our Discord of doing, none of that happens. Like, I joke about it being like a public domain play. Pardon the CGC label, but 001 SVP and Celebrations Charizards. I've done in-depth deep dives, EV calculations, CGC versus PSA versus BGS grading. My participation trophy video was actually just like expanding upon something I did prior. CGC versus PSA, who grades harder? That's just expanding prior on like paywall type analytics that I've done. Not the boogeyman you make it out to be, But like, you do you. Whatever you want to think happens, it's fine. Most times I do consults, and I've done more recently. It's just like generally speaking, and I think this comes to a lot of things in life, the people asking the questions are the ones like least in need of the answers. And like generally the people that need the help the most aren't gonna seek it. They're the ones who get all butthurt about like, oh my god, I can't believe someone's charging for their time. Someone who's done this for years and years and has experience and knowledge. I can't believe they're charging for their time and people are paying it. They get like butthurt over a service or product existing that they don't want to buy. Like, just don't buy it. And then the thought that like people are gonna be harmed. Like, if people are gonna be harmed by anything I say on this channel, it like it blows my mind. It blows my, because I am like the biggest disclaimer. I have my goals. These are why I'm doing these things. Like I don't. You say that I tell people to grade. You say that I'm shilling Nagabas. Like what? I made a video showing that grade 90-95%. I literally said my price projection for Nagabas is like $30-40 for a PSA 10 by the fall. People will be losing money. I think they already are. I think there's already some auctions where people lost money auctioning PSA 10 Nagabas. It's just weird, man. I don't know. Getting a little bit obsessive over some of these things. I don't know. It's weird. Question: if I ban Nostalgianomics, would you take the heat or sell you out? You would lose the wrench, because the stir that would cause there'd be so much blowback on me if that were to happen. Please don't, Mr. Walrus. Oh god. I'm getting behind. I'm 30 minutes behind on chat, and I'm only going for about another 30 minutes, so I'll try to speed up. Look up PokeFlipz first member. I am logged into PokeFlipz on Firefox, so I should be able to look that up if I remember where it was. Let me just look at my history and just copy the link. So right now we're looking up PokeFlipz members. See your members, total time as a member. So Johto Jake is number 1 PokeFlipz member, first one, and then it's Skya. So Skya is number 2, Mr. Walrus is 3, Brad Cards is 4, and Java Akuma is number 5. So Johto Jake should be getting his Golden Boy badge soon. I mean, everyone should be soon because they've been for 5 months, it says. The best participation trophy. Mr. Walrus is number 1. Yeah, maybe I'll number people's MetaZoo promos for them. I'm not gonna make it a paywall thing. Maybe I will though, for some extent. You got to do some kind of a purchase to get the MetaZoo promos. I haven't decided yet though what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll number them with your membership order. Free heavy Watsy pack for the Gold Star members when you hit 4K. Absolutely not. Maybe 400K. Then I could justify it. Yeah, all these things about CGC, like not selling, like CGC is absolutely less of the market than PSA is. I mean, it's obvious. Look at the numbers. CGC is selling though. Like CGC is selling frequently. All these people that tell me you can't make money with CGC, you can't do this, you can't do that, and it's like, okay, let me pack and ship all my Nagaba evolutions. Let me pack and ship all my Celebration Charizards. I sold a CGC 10 Pristine old label Celebration Charizard for $290 the other day, and I'm packing and shipping in PSA ones for like $210. And sometimes the CGC 10 Pristine is lower than the PSA 10. A lot of that though is turnaround time too. When you can turn and burn a CGC slab in a month or 6 weeks, and it takes 3 months, 4 months for PSA, like some of those margins will, it's all in flux, and we'll see where it all leads, right? We'll see where it all goes. If Alex likes something, he's a martyr. If anyone else likes something, they're a cabal member. Yeah, you guys are debating or trying to influence opinion over hypothetical situations. 95% of the consumers buying either CGC or PSA are not in this conversation. I'm actually really excited. I'm really excited for the first convention that I have the new label CGCs. I'm just excited to see on the ground floor, like, if any people actually come up to it and like, hey, I've never seen the new CGC slab. Yeah, I'm seeing it for the first time. I think it's awful. I think it's amazing. This is my first, like, I'm gonna have side by side for the same price. I'm gonna have pristine 001 SVPs, and I'm gonna have PSA 10 001 SVPs. $50. I'll be interested to see how, like, PSA 1 might sell more. The PSA 1 is actually like matching eBay low list. The CGC 1, I'm low list at like 65. I actually do sell those at times, not liquidity, not as many, but I do sell those at times as a premium. I'm actually gonna have a black label 001 SVP for like 200 or 250. So I'm just interested to see those three slabs right next to each other. Kind of a little experiment. And it's anecdotal. It's just going to be one customer, 5 customers, 10 customers that I get to see their reactions, how they handle them, if they take them out, if they look, what they say. But things like that are interesting to see. We are in deep. We are the 1% of the 1% engagement-wise. And so many of these conversations we have, like, no one's thinking of any of this. People are just like, oh, that looks cool. I have $50. I'm allergic to money. I don't want it anymore. I'm going to buy that. It looks cool. Put it in front of their face. They're going to buy it. Fickle consumers. Let's see. Lunchtime. Let's go. I had some leftover brisket for lunch. Your average player says, bruh, I got a free one first month and sub myself after. Maybe the gifted ones are counted differently. I genuinely have no idea how it works on the back end. So maybe it was Amplitude. Amplitude's gifted sub didn't count maybe. I don't know. Dan likes... This take blows my mind. How you could like... I mean, this is like... You're talking drama, you're talking controversy. How you could like the pizza Lunchable better than Cracker Stacker, which is just... clearly superior. How you could like pizza better? The Cracker Stacker is the supreme choice when it comes to Lunchable. That is non-negotiable. and it is live to follow us here. He didn't even send. I mean, he had a chat that was all riled up. He didn't even send him over. Come on, man. Everyone in this chat flips. CGC provides quicker cash is why most of us are perfectly fine with CGC. You even need to be careful about that. Like, when you really look at it, I mean, I'm a very small channel. Disproportionately, I'm sure that there's a lot of flippers in here. I have way too many tabs open. I don't know where my... There's my live chat. There are 52 people watching. What are there, like 10 people talking? There maybe 20% of the people watching are talking. There might be 20 people listening that only collect. That they just listen to me for maybe they're lost. Maybe they found their way here trying to find a PokeRev video. I don't know, but like there's a lot of people that don't engage in chats and they may listen, they may lurk, whatever it may be. We are all very like biased towards our own mindset. Obviously, we only know our own experiences and what our mindset is and what our goals are. But we perceive everything very warped towards our own reality. So that's just natural. I'm sure there's a lot of people in this chat, though. There are dozens of people in this chat that do not flip or do it very minimally, I'm sure. Can we get a verbal confirmation for Walrus, Nostalgianomics, Catch 'em All Collectibles live Monday evening? I can do Monday night. I'm pretty sure I can. I'll have to have the Monday Night Football over there on the TV. It's funny because like there are absolutely, and generalizations are bad. Don't try to paint everyone with a broad brush. There are certainly people that fear CGC to some extent because they have big investments in PSA. But that's not fair though, to say that that's everyone who's critical of CGC is only doing it because they love PSA. Like, again, I really don't have any biases towards. I have personal collection cards in all different color labels and raw cards, whatever it may be. I have inventory in all company slabs, but there are certainly people on CGC side that solely for monetary gain are anti-PSA. And there are people, BGS, pro-BGS, anti-CGC, anti-PSA, solely for monetary gain. Same thing with, like, all three have some of it. Are some worse than not? Like, I don't know. That gets into so much guesswork and assumptions, and it's like, whatever. Like, let people do what they want to do. The thought that I'm, like, pushing any one thing, that's just where it gets crazy to me. Like, when you boogeyman me into, like, Dan Schilling Nagabas, when I literally say, like, if any, like, I'm told that I'm a bear. I'm told that I tell everyone to sell everything, flip only, no collection, no PC23, and then somehow I'm also like, I'm showing you how easy it is to make money buying, grading, selling, yet I'm also somehow shilling the graded card up when I'm the one low listing and selling. Like, I don't know. So many times I get told what I'm doing, and it just confuses me. I don't know. Dan, tell me where you're hiding the catch 'em all promos in Charlotte. To avoid temptation, I'm not even going to bring them to Charlotte. I want to decide what I'm going to do with them. I'm not even going to have them in Charlotte. I'm going to have a lot of people asking, probably. A lot of people that are very anti-MetaZoo seem very interested in these promos. So I've not yet decided what I'm going to do, though. Do you think Black Friday will be a bloodbath for sellers? I think Black Friday is generally good for sellers. I mean, whether the prices will be lower than or higher than, I don't know. But usually a lot of things move. A lot of things move around then. eBay will do some deals. eBay will do some coupons, things like that. I expect to sell a lot more this fall than I did this summer. Just like seasonality, going into Christmas, things like that. Brad's here to fight against the Cabal. Bullfather spent off the grid on the honeymoon in Italy, and there's a Cabal now. What happened in 2 weeks? Things move fast. You missed a lot, Bullfather. I don't think I'll do any Cabal-themed merch. I think you'll have to go to Alex for that. Claims that there's this big Cabal, and then, yeah, I don't know. Cabal-like things going on in some of his conversations, some of his platforms, in my opinion. But I'm not going to have any Cabal-themed merch. I don't plan for that. By the end of the year or early next year, I do intend to have, like, I think Alex uses the same thing the green shiz Josh uses. I do intend to do, like, through stream elements. I think I have some interesting, funny sayings from the some memes from the channel that I'll put on shirts. It's just a matter of, like, setting out and doing it. Let's see. Welcome to It's Just Math Thursdays. No, when I see Brad G, when I see Mr. Walrus, it's like I can't throw every question mark up on the screen because some of them are just purely like, yeah, they're purely memes. Sometimes I take the memes and then I talk about them for 10 minutes and get further behind. But best places to pick up a Sugar Mama, Target, or Costco? I have no idea. I'm thankful I found someone for me during college. Well, someone I had known through school and then started dating in college. I don't know where I would meet somebody now. Like, I have some friends, very close friends, some close family that are, like, in their 30s, single, wanting to find some. Like, I have no advice to give to anybody. Like, look at me. I have no advice to give to anyone on finding people. So, thankfully, I locked mine down in college. So, good luck. Good luck. No advice coming from here. Way out of my realm there. Oh, God. Sugar Mama talk. Dan, can you stick up for stay-at-home dads every once in a while? We got to stick together, man. Yeah, today is literally my last day of having a sitter, as far as I know. My schedule moving ahead is going to be tough. I don't really know what my schedule will be. So that goes for PokeFlipz. Every week I'll be live, PokeFlipz or myself. But it'll be bouncing around. It might be bouncing around days. It'll definitely be bouncing around times. I won't be able to be live at like 3 o'clock anymore. It's gonna be mostly evenings. Might have to hit up PK. We might have to organize our schedule some so that we're not conflicting too much. But in some of the, not that PK is the only guy who streams late at night, but probably the most frequent one. But yeah, my schedule is going to be thrown for a loop. My workload is as large as it has been, but I'm gonna have to find out how to like compact it down into less time. Definitely less time. How do you find the most card in PSA 10? Oh man, buy things with over 90% 10 rates and then grade them, and you'll probably get lightly pre-grade. You'll probably get roughly what everyone else is getting. Does less is more apply to CAC? I only have like 3 slabs to bring per case. That's pushing it to an extreme, but if they're good enough and they're priced well enough, maybe it will be more. I mean, 6 slabs, you could be talking 7 figures in 6 slabs. You can set your categories and upload default. I must have done that. Yeah, ESE are higher issues than standard delivery services. Question, what card should I grade to make money? 001 SVP, Nagabas, and Celebration Charizard. Be careful though, PSA 10 is bordering on participation trophy territory for more than one of those cards. So if you watch my video from Monday, a lot of people got pretty hurt by it. A lot of people were personally offended and yeah, did not react kindly to my video Monday. But I had facts, I had numbers, and they just didn't like it. Very emotional responses. A lot of people were victimized by the truth that was in that video. So be careful grading with PSA. They do have to reckon with the fact that they grade too easy on certain cards. I'm not talking WotC. I'm not talking mid-era. Pulling my foot off the gas there, pumping the brakes some, because I know a lot of people didn't listen to the whole video. A lot of people will click off when they hear that first 10 seconds and don't hear the last like context. I didn't say universally. I was strawmanned. I was strawmanned heavily on what I said in that video. I gave a lot of disclaimers, as I always do. I gave caveats. And a lot of it was a theoretical discussion too. What if in this future world, Pokemon cares about high quality? They clearly can create cards that have 95% 10 rates. What if they do that for every card? Japanese, English, everything. In my opinion, that will be a thing they have to reckon with. Why is a 001 SVP PSA 10 selling for 50, 40, and a Black Label selling for 250? Why is a Nagaba Eevee selling for 500 in Black Label and a PSA 10 selling for 40? Because the market cares to some extent. Will they always? I don't know. Is a Black Label valid? I don't know. I'm not crazy enough to crack a Black Label, to test it. But I have my thoughts. And I share those thoughts too. Like, I feel like my transparency is right up there with the best of them. So, yeah, again, a lot of straw men flying out there. Dan, what card I buy to make the money? Tell me now. Question, it's currently 3:50 p.m. Eastern. What time will Dan read my message? Exactly 4:08 p.m. Eastern. Dan, you took that a different direction than I meant it, man. Sorry, I wasn't being sarcastic. I actually meant there is no expert to talk to. Any investment expert would just tell you not to. There are certainly experts in certain aspects of Pokemon. Like I would... We don't need to get too deeply into this. Again, if someone's offering a service, if someone's offering something, I would not be comfortable with anyone specifically saying like do XYZ, even when it comes to like, again, like look at the track record of traditional investment managers, hedge funds, things like that, versus the benchmarks, versus the S&P 500. Very few outperform benchmarks. Almost none of them do repeatedly over multiple 5-year, 10-year spans. Like just look at the data. The data's out there. We don't have that kind of data in Pokemon, but traditional investments, traditional markets do have that. That's why I'm just like a passive index fund guy when it comes to stocks, and then I'm active in the known. I think it's easier to have more knowns on shorter terms, so I'm active in the known, and where it's more unknown, longer term investment type stuff, I just don't deal in that a lot. I just need to make sure the car is going to be home. I need to leave in like 10-15 minutes. Just need to make sure the car's home so that I can go get it inspected. Appreciate you, BB. Only 26 likes. Don't forget to smash the like. Like, who's an expert to consult with to invest in Pokemon? You know, there are none out there. There's no one in Pokemon that I personally would believe. Like, I just think that there's, I mean, again, somebody, in my opinion, Alex, you boogeyman is like SM Pratt and E4 and all that stuff. Very, very, very popular thing to boogeyman in certain areas. Not just in your Discord either, in a lot of them. It's weird, I don't know. But he even says, I have 2 balls and none of them are crystal. Like, I would not feel comfortable saying, hey, Scott, I have $100,000 to put in Pokemon. Spend my $100,000 for me. I don't think he offers that service. I don't know. I've never paid his rate. I've never paid Jake's rate. I've never paid a consulting rate. And I don't offer that. I don't tell people that. I don't think they do either. I think they would be more like, here's the pros of it, here's the cons of it. I don't think they would just literally, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe they do, I don't know. But there's no one in the hobby that I would trust to spend my money for me. And I genuinely think a lot of that's just like straw manning, boogeymanning. I don't think anyone's doing that. I could be wrong though. The only place I know it's straw manning and boogeymanning is what you say goes on in my Discord. Like, that doesn't go on. I need a channel and start beef with people. Dan and NN having all the fun. Oh, God. We got Walrus and Brad beefing in chat. Half the people buying stuff at Collecticon don't know what PSA or CGC even is. Every Collecticon I've been to, I've sold someone their first slab. Some of those were CGC, some of those were PSA. Every time it will probably happen. Like, we are so deep into this, and we're so tilted towards our knowledge and experience and all that. Like, it's not surprising. It just is. Like, that's just the way naturally we're gonna be. Ugh. And you will have all your Cabal minions there pushing them onto the unsuspecting victims at Collecticon. That's crazy to me. Like, that's so victim fragile. Like, all the things you don't like when I say. And I've only been saying those things the past week, but it feels like you're really stepping up the game in that sphere the last week. I price stuff, and if people want to buy it, they buy it. And generally speaking, like, a lot of I reverse shill. I talk down a lot of my inventory. I talked from a consumer standpoint. If you're buying it, don't care about future value, I push that. But if anything, like, I reverse shill. I'm the bearer, right? I'm the bearer. Like, I'm not pumping this stuff. I'm not. Some of the claims are crazy. We got another pizza Lunchable supporter. Dan doesn't season his food. Man's dunking his cheesy crackers in milk. I've got my own brisket rub that I've worked on over the years. Own chicken seasoning. I do mostly Cornell chicken, which is just a recipe I took, but bullish on seasoning and spices. Bullish on spice. Would be interesting if you did a poll on how many of us flip. Every time I've tried to do a poll, I don't know how to get a third selection. So I'll just do you flip Pokemon? Yes or no? I'll do a poll. Do you flip Pokemon? Yes or no? I guess you don't really need a third option when you do it in that way. So yeah, let's see. Your voice is soothing, Dan. That is the first time I've ever heard that in my life. I don't believe you, but I appreciate you. I'm chilling while playing RuneScape as usual, pricing out some Lorcana too, so a little missing in action, always listening. Shout out all the lurkers out there. Lurker here, and if it sells and you make money, who cares? A better poll would be how many of us flip unsuccessfully. Then my inventory for Charlotte is Rebel Clash resealed packs. Am I in trouble? Sounds like a lot of trouble. I think there's gonna be. I think Rattle's gonna be there, so Mr. Walrus might be having a feature in the next Rattle video. Hey, will the Silver Tempest cards be up in prices and value in the years to come? Some will be up, some will be down. I know people love that answer. I have no idea. I have 2 balls and none are crystal to borrow an SM Pradism. I don't even know where Silver Tempest cards are. Like, that's not a set that I've pursued heavily to grade. I generally go for the lower hanging fruit. I go where the liquidity's higher and the grading 10 rates are higher. Celebrations, Crown Zenith, that's where I'm at right now. I didn't really grade much of Silver Tempest. So maybe that's better. Like, maybe that's better for the 10s because the 10 rates are lower. Like, I would need to look at that a lot more to give you a better answer. If you gave me a specific card and I looked at its price charting, I looked at its TCG fish, I could guess. I could put a guess, but I would need to see more. I don't have the time with 5 or 10 minutes left. The only thing Dan Sheldon the bastard got me with his Sitting Cuties, I'm buying at $14.99. I actually I've never sold a Sitting Cutie, but last time Umbreon was in stock, I bought like 5 of them or 6 of them. I'm gonna bring 2 Umbreons to put next to my. I'm gonna bring my Moonbreon. I think I'm gonna put $1,000 on it. I might be Moonbreon-less after Charlotte. I probably won't take any less, but maybe I will. I'm gonna put 1,000 on that Moonbreon. I'm gonna take my PSA 9 Neo Discovery Moonbreon, and I'm gonna have them side by side. I chickened out on having my alt art Moonbreon for sale in Dallas. I never put it out there, but I'm gonna have OG Moonbreon, Sitting Cutie Moonbreon, and then Evolving Skies Moonbreon, all for sale right next to each other. Dan, how much of a cut does Pokemon Center give you on Sitting Cutie sales? Sadly, none. I mean, I've tried getting Coca-Cola to sponsor me. Warren Buffett isn't hitting me up. I tried. Like, look at all this. Look at this. I'm wearing a shirt. I got the canvases. I got the Sitting Cuties. Come on, man. Like, Pokemon Center, where are you at? Give me that KAC 10 discount. Give me that affiliate link. Comp Doctor says, I've thought about this. Dating is for Target and Costco is for marriage. Oh god. PK doesn't exist out of YouTube Live. Changed my mind. He's going to be in Charlotte, so you will be proven wrong. Though, that said, I'm trying to push PK. PK, if you're listening, live stream, drive stream, please. PK is going to be riding down with Jake and Nick. So I'm hoping, with 3 people in the car, 3 phones, fully capable, 3 YouTube channels, even though Nick, 2.5 YouTube channels. Well, Jake, too. I mean, 1.5, 2 maybe YouTube channels in the car. Maybe someone will go live. I'm pushing PK for live stream, drive stream. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I think he did a live. He's done lives at Collecticon, so he'll probably be live like half of Collecticon. He'll be live on the drive down. He'll probably do a live Saturday, checking out tables, do a live talking about his consignment thing. Maybe he only does exist live. I might have just talked myself into agreeing with you. Looking forward to seeing you, PK, and everyone there. Will the Japan Premium continue to remain for collections? That's a very broad question. I think a lot of cards are going down in Japanese right now. A lot of the more exclusive, like historic, older, rarer, minter, better cards are doing pretty well. Look at those golden auctions last night. There were some really older, rarer, minter, better cards that fared pretty well. I've heard that doesn't exist. I've heard that doesn't mean anything. But older, rarer, minter, better doesn't mean like universally every card that's new is terrible, and every card, like, again, it's taken to an extreme. It's strawmanned way out of context, way out of proportion. Older, rare, like if you have 2 things that like all else is equal, and one is slightly older, rarer, or minter, it'll tilt the scales that way towards better. People just get their feelings hurt over like this thing, and they take it again, kind of like the whole Discord paywall, what we do in there, what we don't do in there. People just strawman and boogeyman these things into being like way more than they are. And I don't know what it is, but victim mentality is prevalent in society in a lot of places here and there, and it's creeping in lately. The past week or 2 I've seen a lot. Oh, Give Me the Loot says Japanese waifu cards worth so much more than English versions. Will the Japan premium continue to remain for collections? I don't know. I am not super knowledgeable about Japanese pull rates and things like that. I think some of those pull rates are significantly harder. Yeah, I'm not positive. Question, I subbed OSP's cards to BGS. His terrible condition Bandai graded better than my modern. How can I deal with this? Get good. Get wrecked. Do you ever auction your more niche cards, Naruto, Metazu, etc., or would you say it's risky to get wrecked compared to buy now? I'm glad you said that. I had a note to mention. I have like, again, I apologize. I'm buying now, Dan. I have like 150 auctions going live tonight, 10-day auctions. 130 of them are Metazu and like 20 are PSA. I'm just trying to clear out a bunch of Metazu set slabs. PK would love them. CGC graded Metazu set cards. I mean, what more is in PK's wheelhouse than that? I'm just looking to move them. I'm looking to clear them out, looking to get more. Liquidity of graded in Metazu is raw in Metazu is a lot better than graded. I'm generally doing raw Metazu, graded Pokemon. So yeah, trying to clear all those out. I'm going to get kind of wrecked on some of them, but like, I just rather would get rid of them and have the money up front and have more of the space. Yeah. But generally speaking, Pokemon is more liquid. You get wrecked less with auctions on more higher liquidity. No, Dan, you're missing the point, man. You say consult an expert all the time. Who's that expert to consult is my question. I would give you the same answer in Pokemon. I would say there's no expert in traditional investing. There's no expert in traditional investing that I would give $100,000 to and trust blindly for them to pick my investments. I mean, I've looked at the studies. I've looked at all the data out there. I invest in broad indexes because time and time again, it beats most of the experts. There's no experts that consistently beat over and over and over again. Very, very few, I should say. Not no. Very, very few. And as they scale, it gets harder and harder to. I mean, Warren Buffett has talked about how it's a lot easier to turn 100,000 into a million than it is to turn 100 billion into a trillion, right? I mean, scalability becomes an issue even in traditional investments once you get to the really high end. But yeah, so there's no one in Pokemon. There's no expert in Pokemon that I would universally trust spend my money. There's no expert in traditional investments I would universally trust to spend my money. I think a good investment advisor generally says to like low-cost index funds. But there are a lot of people with very perverse incentives to sell you high-load things, high-yield things. There are a lot of salesmen that will sell you whole life insurance because they make a shit ton of money off it. And it's kind of sickening, to be honest. I might have to make a personal finance Dan channel at some point. Some of the stuff that goes on in personal finance is so sad and sickening. Financial education, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But some of the products that they sell have applications where they're actually beneficial to people less than 1% of the time. Very fringe cases. Some of the things these people sell, some of the perverse incentives they have where they just directly make money. Oh, there's no commission on... they don't make any money telling you to buy VT-Sax or VU or something like that. But they sell you whole life insurance where they make a 5%. Every 100,000 you put in, they pocket 5K cash. Like, stuff like that is actually sickening. My wife's 403B even. My wife's 403B has a 5% sales load. Sickening that stuff like that still exists. Yeah, when I say consultant expert, I'm generally talking about like CPAs and accountants and CFAs and things like that. Oh God. There's no one. I just said it, but like there's no one in Pokemon I would consult about investing to the extent of like, here's all my money, invest it for me. There's no one I would do that with in traditional investments either. What does flip mean? Buys and sells cards or accept cards for store credit and sells. So 82% of people say they flip. Obviously, everyone's going to have their own opinion on what that means exactly. Again, we can get into the semantics. We can get into the weeds on that. But 1 out of 6 people don't flip in here. So that's approximately... there's like 12. I said dozens of people in here probably don't flip. There's at least a dozen then. Doing the math off the poll and who's watching, 83 people watching, over 12 people in here don't flip. So I was lower than I would have thought, but actually, Alex, I just got to your message. We said the same thing. We said the same thing. All the traditional advisors will do is try to sell you an investment they make commission on. I hadn't seen that comment, and I had the same thought as you. Your voice is not soothing, Dan. I fully trust you and believe you, Brad. Any update on your vault services? I'm sending off every 15th and every 1st of the month. I need to do better, like pushing that. But as of right now, I actually have. This is my mid month. I can't show. I don't want to show any address or anything. This is what's going out on the 15th. So I'm sending 50 to 100 cards twice a month. The 1st and the 15th every month. 5% I sell your cards for you through the eBay vault. Feel free to hit me up if you're interested in that. I might have. I think I have that handy. Yeah. So here it is. The right side of it. The right side of it is the 5% flat eBay vault buy it now fee, $250 minimum, $25 minimum fee. If you're interested, feel free to reach out. I do need to wrap up very, very soon though. Yeah, most of my consults are about like, hey, how did you set up as a business? Who do I talk to? Who else do I... Like, I charge a much lower rate than the CPAs that I pay. I charge a much lower rate than the tax attorney, and I charge a lower rate than the guy that set up my S corporation. So some people use me as like, I want to pay you this much to make sure that I'm asking good questions when I go to ask the more expensive guy. I mean, I'm a third of the rates, 20% of the rates of some of those people. But there's also places where I might be the same rate or only a 30% discount to the rate. Like, I don't know what all those people are charging. But I know that I pay my guys a lot more than I charge for consults. Because I do consults. When are you going to bring guests on again? I'm bad at initiating, having guests. I'm really bad at it. Not anytime soon. My time is very, very tight coming up. Not having a babysitter, so... Raji card's gonna send Rattle to me. I see Aries Fire just keep saying Lugia alt. Did you ask a question? Can you tell Lugia alt? I don't know what the price of Lugia alt is right now. I don't know what that card is raw. I don't know what that card is graded. I can't really forecast the price on it. I would need to spend 5 minutes looking at TCG Fish and then give you a bit more thought out answer. But yeah, I need to end in like a few minutes, so I can't really do that one right now. Ask again in the future, and I'll try to ask it better. If it was at the front, I could have pulled up TCG Fish. Generally speaking, I think that might be like flat or slightly down. If I had to guess without looking at the data. Slightly flat down. I wouldn't be investing in that card personally. I would be buying it raw, grading it, and selling it for a profit. But that's me. That's me with my goals, me with my capital, cash flow, things like that. Dan question, why are you live and not watching Dead Memo videos? I have been watching a lot. I've been watching a lot. No one's feelings are hurt and no one makes up boogeymen. You sound like the victim. I'm not saying that like people out there are going to be harmed. I'm not saying like, oh... I'm not going to continue on that one. Like, I'm not saying that like people are being hurt and like literally, I mean, you're saying people are being victimized. Like, I don't know how, I don't know how to address that in any different way. This is not tax advice. Let's see. If PokeRev asks, I bet his is way lower than 82% flippers. Absolutely. But PokeRev's would be a lot lower. I bet if he asks who doesn't have a license, it'd be 90%. I'm curious to what the age demographic is. I can ask that earlier in a live stream in the future, and I can show you my demographic data. Like, I'm completely fine showing all that. I do need to go, though. I need to leave. I need to go get my car inspected, my wife's car inspected. I'm very excited for football tonight. Shout out NFL. Go check out the Chiefs Lions tonight. Very excited for football to be back. I will 15 and 16 in base, Venusaur Zapdos. With that, I will end it. Hopefully my stream actually ends today. We'll see if that works or not. End broadcast. I will catch you all later.